This might go without saying, but it probably needs to be stated because it is a common problem in the musician world, in the music business, especially with artists, producers. Um, the value of just being a nice person that people want to be around. That's something that, as artists, as producers, as people who deal with music in one fashion or another, we can kind of get into our own ego a little bit too much. We kind of invest in ourselves about how important it is that we can produce music. I think a little bit too much. In fact, I think a lot. The way that I see music producers and artists and people who make songs, it's a very important job, and I think it's beautiful and I love it. And I'm glad that there are a lot of talented people out there that are enriching our lives with music and pushing us forward. But I don't think that it's a more important job than the plumber who comes and fixes your toilets. I really don't think there's much more value out of a really beautiful song than having running water. Actually, some days, if you've ever had a broken toilet, you would rather have a fixed toilet than have any hit song playing on the radio, right? I think in some ways as artists, we put ourselves somewhat on, not all of us, all right, but this is just a common problem that we have as people who make music, that we put ourselves on these pedestals and these soapboxes thinking that we have such a gift to give to the world that we don't have to be courteous, show up on time, be nice to people, be agreeable, all that kind of stuff, and actually just have some humility to say, hey, I'm here to do the job, right? I show up, imagine like a day laborer who shows up to the job and it's just 20 minutes late or even an hour late, wearing sunglasses and going, oh yeah, I don't work until I really feel like it. I'm kind of, I have to, the inspiration has to hit me before I get my shovel and start digging and stuff. Fired off the job, right? Now, musicians do this all the time, though. I've been in many studio sessions where the artist, the vocalist shows up super late, wearing sunglasses inside, just, it's all good, don't worry about it. I just had this happen, that happened. No apologies. They don't feel like they need to like apologize for anything. And the world should just be revolving around them. It's a big problem in artists, and it's really, really obnoxious. And I'm so sorry for any of you producers out there that are working with artists like that right now, or if you're working with a vocalist or any musician who's giving you that kind of attitude, because I've been there quite a few times and I hated it. And that's why I primarily don't work with artists that much anymore. I just work pretty much with TV, film, music licensing, producers if I co-write or do something like that. It's people who are working from their home studio and they work on time and they're diligent and they're professional. But, this can't be stated enough. It doesn't matter if you have the best music around, if you have the most talent, if you have the best musical skills, if you can play piano like a beast or something like that. But if you're not fun to be around, even just via email, right? If there's a tone of just like you're demanding, or you're kind of a know-it-all, or you're just kind of a jerk. You come off as sort of a pushy jerk who's asking for things all the time and wants things and is very demanding and doesn't seem to be there to help the other person make their lives better. It doesn't matter if you're working with a music supervisor, a library, me, I don't care who it is. I would rather work with somebody just nice and fun and friendly and humble than the most talented producer on earth who's completely full of themselves, who's arrogant, who's pushy, who's asking for things, and not ever contributing. I wouldn't want to work with somebody like that. I don't care if their music is amazing. Life is short, and if I have to work with people on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis, licensing music, gathering stems from them, mixing their music, I want to like them, right? It's a very, kind of an obvious point, but it does need to be stated, especially in this industry. You need to be a person that people like, right? And this is probably almost impossible maybe to take stock of it if you are somebody who has a pushy personality, who can kind of rub people the wrong way, because most people are not going to be honest with you. They're not going to tell you, hey, you're kind of annoying me, leave me alone. A few people might, maybe, but more than likely what they're going to really do is just ignore you, right? You're going to email them with something pushy, or you're going to kind of come off just, not as a nice person, and they're just not going to respond to you. They're not going to accept your music. They're not going to want to do business with you. So, and it's hard to tell, because sometimes it could have been just your music that they didn't like. It also could have been that they're busy and they forgot to get back to you. So, this is sort of one of those things where it does require a lot of personal inner reflection for for you to kind of come across this and just really double check everything that you're about to say to somebody you're going to do business with. Okay, so you're going to send an email, especially with email, because with text and stuff, things can get so miscommunicated and misinformed. Like if you meant something one way and you put an exclamation mark at the end of that sentence, it can sound demanding actually, when really you just wanted to convey excitement. So double read and double check everything that you send somebody via email. And obviously always be appreciative of somebody else's time, their effort, their attention. Try to get right to the point, right? Don't meander, don't send, and that's another thing, sending long emails, paragraph after paragraph, making somebody read through like a whole 2 pages or a book of your life story. Come on. People's time is very limited, okay? So be aware of that. Whenever you're asking or sending anybody an email and asking for anything from them, the first thing you're doing is asking for their time and their attention. So be very aware of that, right? Be very courteous of that. And also maybe even if it could be implied, or you can actually even say that in your email, say, and I appreciate your time for looking into this, and I appreciate your time answering me, or whatever it is you're asking or you're trying to get from them. Make sure you appreciate that, right? You acknowledge the fact that, like, I understand you're a busy person. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, but please, when you get a chance, no rush, take a time to listen to this, or if you can give me some information on that. Be flexible with people, be nice to people. They will put you at the front of the line. I'm telling you that firsthand. At least maybe I'm speaking for just myself here, but I think other people in this business feel the same way. They do want high quality music, and they obviously want high quality producers, but more important than that, they want nice people to license their music, right? They want to work with people that are nice, that don't bother them, that every time they get an email from them, they're not like, oh God, here's another one from them, right? They don't want to have that reaction to somebody that they work with constantly. Nobody does in any industry. So maybe this is just one of those obvious videos that didn't need to be made, but I've gotten a few interactions with some students that they have this really rough approach when they're working with people and they're submitting and stuff. And when they get rejections from libraries, like, well, what's the problem? What the hell's their issue? Why didn't they? It's like, you're already starting off with the wrong attitude if you're yelling at people for not giving you business. What is that going to do for you? That's never going to win for you. Okay. So hopefully this helps. Maybe if you're not seeing the success that you want, maybe you're not getting acceptance letters or whatever. Again, it can be your music. It can be a very, very different, many different factors. But also take stock of the way that you're emailing people, calling people, your personality, okay?